at the riverside town square, where the ground was completely destroyed and filled with cracks, rubble, and shallow pools of water, several armored soldiers lay on the ground, their faces filled with fear and shock. Their bodies trembled as they stared ahead, unable to comprehend what they were witnessing. At the center of it all stood Galadius, surrounded by swirling purple energy. Looking down at Linf, he cursed him, calling him a damn bug and questioning how he dared to appear before him. Lin Feng looked at him, recognizing that it was Galadiusa, whom he had fought before. Galadiusa smirked, his expression filled with pride and hostility. He declared that the last time Lin Feng escaped was merely by luck. But this time, things would be different. As purple energy gathered around him, Gladius announced that he would use his proudest move to end it. Gladius raised his hand, his eyes glowing with confidence and killing intent. With a cold smile, he declared that this time he would completely crush Lin Feng. He struck and a massive arc of purple energy surged forward, slicing through the air with terrifying force. The energy expanded instantly, forming a vast shimmering barrier that engulfed the battlefield. The space around them twisted as the power took shape, locking everything inside. Watching from a distance, an old man's eyes widened in shock. He recognized the technique immediately. He muttered in disbelief that it was the Destiny Water Curtain. His expression turned grave as realization struck him. He questioned how a demon king could appear in the hinterlands. He trembled with fear, explaining that this was Galicia's strongest skill, Destiny Duel. The sheer scale of the technique left everyone stunned, and they could not understand who it was meant to deal with. All eyes turned toward the battlefield where Lin Feng stood alone, surrounded by the overwhelming power. The old man spoke in disbelief, questioning if all of this was really meant for just that young man. He frowned deeply, struggling to accept what he was seeing. He muttered that the young man did not even look older than his own son. Confusion filled his voice as he tried to make sense of the situation. He explained that Golados's power of destiny took a long time to accumulate each time it was used. There was no reason for such a terrifying ability to be unleashed on someone so young. On the other hand, Lin Feng looked around in confusion. His eyes scanned the surroundings as he tried to understand what had just happened. He wondered where he was because just moments ago, he had been standing in the town square. In front of him, Galadiusa hovered in the air, facing him directly. The battlefield around them had completely changed, as if they had been pulled into another space. Suddenly, a system notification appeared in front of Lin Feng. It announced that a destiny duel had been initiated. During this challenge, both parties would have all their abilities restricted. It further declared that the challenger, Galadis, had challenged Lin Feng. Gadius stood proudly as a massive wheel-like structure appeared behind him. With a cruel tone, he declared that this was his proudest power, the Disc of Destiny stripping. He explained the rules of the duel without hesitation. The roulette would randomly select one of their abilities as the subject of the duel. The winner would claim all of the loser's destiny. Hearing this, Lin Feng's expression barely changed as he quietly questioned the meaning of destiny. Galadius' lips curled into a wicked smile, his eyes gleaming with excitement. He assured Lin Feng that no matter what was chosen, he would crush him with absolute strength. Behind Galada's, the massive roulette began to spin slowly, emitting a faint mechanical sound as its pointer moved across the glowing surface. Lin Feng stood still, watching everything unfold. He thought to himself that this ability was bizarre and questioned whether something like this was even something a human could fight against. The roulette continued spinning, its glowing patterns shifting rapidly. The pointer moved across multiple symbols before finally slowing down. In the next moment, a system notification appeared once again. It announced that the duel subject had been determined. Planting ability. Seeing that, a bead of sweat slid down Lin Feng's face, but his expression remained composed and steady. But seeing the result, Galadesa burst into laughter. He found it amusing and said that he had been curious about what the outcome would be. With a confident grin, he declared that even though he was not skilled at planting, the powerful physique of the demon clan was more than enough to handle such lowly labor. Galadius looked at Lin Feng with a mocking expression, saying that he, a necromancer summoner, had probably never even touched a hoe in his life. Hearing that, Lin Feng lowered his head, remaining silent. Seeing this, Galadius sneered and asked if he was trembling with fear. Lin Feng then slowly lifted his hood. His voice remained steady as he questioned the very idea of fear as if it meant nothing to him. A faint smile appeared on his lips as he admitted that he had almost laughed out loud. At that moment, a system voice echoed through the space, announcing that the duel arena was being generated and that the planting space had been opened. In the next instant, the surroundings changed. A farm field appeared before them. Then 2 boxes filled with seeds appeared before them, neatly placed side by side. Galadius glanced at the setup and smirked, casually, remarking that it was far too simple. Without hesitation, he reached out and grabbed a handful of seeds, clearly unimpressed by the challenge. A wicked smile spread across his face as he explained that all they had to do was plant the seeds and wait for them to grow. With complete confidence, he declared that he could defeat Lin Feng, even with his eyes closed, holding a hoe in his hand. Lin Feng looked excited, admitting that it had been a long time since he had felt this way. The thought that someone actually wanted to compete with him in farming amused him greatly. A faint smile appeared on Lin's face as he held the tool in his hand, his expression calm yet confident. In the next moment, his gaze shifted slightly to the side as Guadasa moved. A surge of purple energy erupted as Galadius stomped his farm with overwhelming force. The impact shattered the farm beneath him, sending fragments flying in all directions. Standing atop the broken ground, Galadius raised his arm high and threw the seeds wildly as energy swirled around him like a storm. Seeing that, Lin Feng remained unfazed. With a sharp, steady look in his eyes, he declared that Guadasa was destined to lose. Time passed. 2 hours later, from the soil, fully grown corn plants stood tall, glowing faintly with vitality, their golden kernels shining brightly. Galadius stood with his back turned. A smug smile spread across his face as he touched his chin and remarked that it seemed he also had a talent for planting. Then his eyes narrowed slightly as he looked toward Lin Feng. In the distance, Lin Feng stood quietly, wiping his face as the glowing particles from the harvested crop shimmered around him. Seeing this, Galataba's expression changed. Shock and disbelief filled his face as he realized that Lin Feng had actually matched his planting speed, using nothing but the body of an ordinary human. For a moment, the battlefield fell silent. Then, Galadius smirked again and declared coldly that this was all there was to it, that it seemed this was all Lin Feng was capable of. But Lin Feng remained calm and used his nature magic. Sweat rolled down his face as he used all his power. At that moment, a system window appeared before him, announcing that the planting had been completed. It began evaluating the result based on plant vitality, life force, and growth potential. On one side, Galadius stood confidently, one hand on his waist, watching everything unfold with a calm expression. On the other hand, Lin Feng also stood confidently, waiting for the result. But suddenly, Galadius's expression changed. His eyes widened in shock, unable to accept what he was seeing. Green vines burst out from Lin Feng's farm, twisting and growing rapidly, glowing with vitality as fragments of leaves scattered in the air. A system voice soon declared that the evaluation had been completed, announcing that Lin Feng's side had won. Lin Feng stood calmly, showing no sign of excitement, as if the result had already been expected. Hearing that, Galadius trembled with anger. He clenched his fists tightly and shouted in disbelief, insisting that it was impossible. In his eyes, there had been no difference between what they had planted. Seeing him frustrated, Lin Feng simply smiled faintly, letting out a quiet, amused breath. Then, with a calm and steady tone, he explained to Galadius that farming was not just about putting seeds into the soil and calling it a day. He revealed that he had infused the seeds with nature magic, allowing them to absorb more nutrients from the soil and grow stronger. At the same time, he pointed out the flaw in Galadius's method, saying that Galadius's energy was destructive by nature, and instead of nourishing the seeds, it would only cause them to wither. Hearing this, Galadius's face froze in shock, his eyes widening unnaturally as disbelief consumed him. In the next moment, anger exploded within him. His hands trembled as purple energy crackled around his fingers, and he roared that it was nothing but opportunistic trickery. He refused to accept such an outcome. Losing control, he surged forward with killing intent, shouting that he would tear Lin Feng to pieces with his own hands. Lin Feng reacted instantly. His body moved sharply as Gutia's purple energy lashed out around him with frustration clear in his voice. He mocked Goladius, calling out his shameless behavior, flipping the table when he could not win and questioning what kind of demon king acted like that. But just then, a dark figure that looked just like Goladius appeared beside Lin Feng. Dark, violent energy wrapped around its body. Seeing that, Goladius grew furious and shot a massive surge of purple energy. It crashed into the black figure with overwhelming force, but the black figure blocked it. Lin Feng watched from a distance, a faint smile forming on his lips as everything unfolded. At that moment, a system notification appeared in midair, its cold voice declaring that the challenge had ended. The challenger's destiny had been stripped away and prohibited behavior had been detected and forcefully resolved. Hearing this, Gaudius's expression twisted in horror. He roared in despair, shouting that his destiny could not be taken from him. But suddenly, cracks spread across his body as dark energy spiraled violently around him. His form began to change, and then his whole body turned into purple energy, cutting through the air like blades as it flowed into Lin Feng's hand. Lin Feng raised his hand and saw that a black mark had formed on it. Just as Goliath disappeared, the massive space he had created also vanished. The sky shattered away and Lin Feng began falling from the sky. What happens next? Stay tuned, the next part is coming soon. Don't miss it, and make sure to watch the next part.